In Washington v. Harper, the United States Supreme Court grappled with the question of when a prison might forcibly medicate an incarcerated inmate. Walter Harper had spent several years in Washington State Prison in the mental health unit. He was briefly paroled but returned to prison after assaulting 2 nurses. This time, Harper was sent to a correctional facility specializing in convicted felons with serious mental disorders. Psychiatrists there diagnosed Harper with manic depressive disorder. At first, Harper consented to be treated with antipsychotic medications, but then refused to continue treatment. His doctor sought to treat him anyway. Under Washington state policy, an inmate could be subjected to involuntary treatment with antipsychotic drugs if he suffered a mental disorder that rendered him either gravely disabled or likely to cause serious harm to himself or others. Only a psychiatrist could order this medication. An inmate who refused medication was entitled to a hearing by a committee that didn't include the treating physician. The inmate could present evidence and was entitled to the assistance of a lay advisor. Any decision to medicate an inmate involuntarily would have to be reviewed periodically. Harper's review committee approved the psychiatrist's plan to medicate him involuntarily. Harper sued the state in Washington State Court, alleging that failing to provide him with a judicial hearing before giving him drugs against his will violated the Due Process Clause. He contended that the state couldn't override his refusal of antipsychotic drugs unless he was found to be incompetent and a fact finder made a substitutive judgment that he would consent to treatment if competent. The trial court held that while an inmate has a liberty interest in refusing medical treatment, the state's policy met the requirements of due process. The Washington Supreme Court reversed, holding that an inmate is entitled to a judicial hearing with procedural protections, at which the state must prove by clear, cogent, and convincing evidence that the involuntary administration of medications is both necessary and effective for furthering a compelling state interest. The United States Supreme Court granted cert.